Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sick Folks of Cinema. Pew, 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 pew. Yes, my name is Stina Ceballos, and with me, as always, is Keith Graber, somewhere on the Zoom screen. There he is. And we've also got Stefan Bowman.
What's up?
More faces, yes, I love it. And our amazing and very special guest today, Ellis Hoffmeister.
Woo!
Woo!
Not just
Thank
today,
you.
but maybe more times in the future.
Maybe
Ah,
forever.
He's
what?
found a forever home with the sick folks of cinema.
It's true. That's why he's our very, very special guest because he is going to be with us way more frequently, more like every week, every other week.
Put the
Truth be
lotion on the
told,
skin.
yeah.
Get the hose again.
Truth be
Whatever
told,
we're
he's more of
doing.
a fuck than a folk, but whatever, we'll take it.
I'm sick and twisted enough. I feel
Mhm.
like I'm mentally ill enough to be here. It's great.
I'm glad. I'm glad you fit in.
Legitimately. Like doctor approved.
Oh my god. Okay, y'all. So, WWW. What have we been watching? Stefan?
Okay. Let's see.
I didn't know who to pick. I was like, everybody's just waiting for me, and I'm like, all right.
This
That one.
is a
Yeah.
podcast. What
Let's
Stefan's
see
been
here.
watching.
I did Tom Clancy's Without Remorse. Yeah, it was okay. Little disappointed with I don't understand how these people write movies and then they don't know how to close the fucking movie. Write your ending first. How about that? And then I
Endings
watched
are
the
hard
new. Yeah. For some people, yes.
for a lot of people.
I know that was.
Most people. I think
I
that's the
can-
hardest part.
Yeah.
I just want to torture all my characters. Anything I write, I just want to
Yeah.
torture the
Oh,
fuck
I'm
out of
like,
them.
they're just gonna die. Always.
Fucking A,
Pretty
dude.
much
Fucking
always.
A.
Something horrible has happened to
That's right.
them.
We're
Yeah.
on the same wavelength.
Same level. It's why
They
we
can
get along.
all die.
Yeah.
Those Who Wish Me Dead, the new Angelina Jolie movie, was actually pretty fucking good. Again, didn't like the ending very well.
What's it about?
There's this lady who's like a fire jumper. I think that's what it's called. Where they jump out of the
Yeah.
plane in the middle of the forest fire type shit.
Those are some fucking badass.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Whoa.
So it has, and it's written by I believe Stephen M. Knight, and that dude's written some good shit. Like I
Uh-huh.
forget,
And
I
it's
should have wrote it
Taylor
down. But
Sheridan, right?
Yeah,
Directed it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
My
that's
neighbor's
what I'm
friend
saying.
is a
It's
fire jumper.
oh, phew. It takes a
He's-
special kind of person.
He's great, and I've never seen a single thing he's been involved with.
Yeah, but definitely worth a watch if you have HBO. What is it, Max? Then caught up on
Whatever it's called.
Clarice, the new Silence of the Lamb series. Clarice,
hmm
and
How is
Yeah.
it?
oh, it's good. It's good. The
Okay,
girl that
I've heard
the
it's
lady
rad.
actress they got, she sounds like what is it, Jodie? Is it Jodie Foster? Is that
Yeah.
who played-
Originally.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like really mimics her like the country accent.
Oh, wow.
Really
Jodie
well.
Foster from Silence of the Lambs or Jodie Foster from Nell?
Oh no, from not in not
Okay.
in a
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Chickabay.
Hey, chickapay. Yeah. God, I've never seen that whole thing, but I've
Oh,
seen
you're
it,
lucky.
pieces of it so many times.
You're so lucky. Oh my
That's like the
god.
dream role. I would love to play that part. Hands down. I'd be great
Oh
at
man.
She had to prep for what, months to grow out that bush for that role.
Seriously. Oh man. Then
Sorry, Jodie. Love your work.
yeah, that'd be
You're
weird.
great.
She's not watching. She don't give a
it.
Oh
She's
my
like,
God.
I don't have time for this. Yeah.
Put the lotion in the basket.
Um,
That's your skin gets the hose again. Fear the Walking Dead.
Give me my
'cause-
dog.
That's right. Give me my dog. I'm a huge zombie fanatic, so Fear the Walking Dead. And then I taken Flapper's workshop comedy class, and so they got us watching like tons of comedy specials and writing a shit ton of stuff. So I watched
Nice.
3 Cat Williams comedy specials. One of them didn't like very much. It seemed like it was just kind of thrown together. It was just like I was watching. I was like, okay, you rushed this one because the other two I watched, I was like, wow, those are really good. Then the second one I watched, I was just like, yeah, no. I mean, he's still great, but yeah,
He's
was
a lot
rough.
of vibe.
Oh yeah,
He
oh,
is.
Cat Williams presents Cat Williams.
yeah. Yeah, that's the second one I
Exactly.
watched.
So meaning dissecting his writing is a different, exercise than dissecting another comic's
Yeah.
writing,
I just, for me, and this is probably gonna sound weird, and I know I still have a long way to go, but like if you're a comedian and you're gonna do religion, I hope you're anti-religion, because for me that's just more entertaining. If you're
Mhm.
gonna do how much you love Jesus, I've seen that like a million fucking times. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I almost feel the opposite. Like I
okay.
almost feel like you gotta have a good, because I feel like so many nowadays it's like hating religion is like since Carlin and
I love George
everyone's
It's a
trying
little too easy.
Oh, I love it,
at
but I
some
think
points.
only certain people are like amazing at it.
But is it though? I mean, you say it's too easy, but look at how religious the world is. Like it doesn't stop
totally.
them from doing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
So I get the point.
I just
but-
always want an
That's-
original take, no matter what joke you're making.
Oh, no, of
I
course.
guess
Because if it's
I guess in my head, like I say it sounds a little too easy because of how religious the world is. Like everybody's religious.
Mhm.
So to get the ammo for that is like, well, I guess I'll just pick up all this shit on the floor, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
For sure,
that-
for sure.
That's just me.
Guess
Yeah.
I'll just get my pamphlets and read them to the audience.
But so I watched those, and I love Cat Williams. He even had a very controversial YouTube thing that he put out there. If you haven't seen it, definitely check that out. Just a lot of YouTube. That's about it.
Cool.
Nice. Cool.
Can I ask Stefan a question real quick?
Uh-oh.
Always.
No, okay. Are you
Always.
really, because I'm really excited for this, are you excited for the amusement park?
Is
The
that
George
a-
A. Romero movie that they're
Oh.
putting out on Shudder that has never been released before
I
and
know-
is supposed to be amazing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In
I
like
know.
June. Yeah.
I'm gonna. Do have Shutter. I'm gonna watch that. But I heard that they were doing his last zombie movie. What is
They're
it?
also gonna, so they're also
Road
gonna
of
work
the
on
Dead
that.
or Road-
yeah,
some
which
shit.
was supposed to be his like final
His opus.
zombie
Yeah, it was
opus.
supposed to. From the explanations, I read, it's supposed to be like Mad Max meets fucking extreme zombie apocalypse.
Yes, I'm
Sounds
into that.
fucking awesome to me.
I think
I'm
it's still
here for
gonna
that.
be a few. We're not gonna see that for probably a year or two, but
Oh,
Amusement Park
definitely. Yeah,
comes
because they just
out,
barely.
'cause they're
Yeah.
still, they just pulled out the script and are working on it right now.
Oh yeah, I'm excited though. That's if you were to, and I have it right on my computer, so I'm glad you brought that up.
I love
Oh, that's-
70s. Oh my gosh, I love him, and I love his 70s face. Like Martin is one of my all-time favorite movies.
That's finally
and
coming out in the Blu-ray.
Oh, really? Because that's
Mhm.
a hard one to find.
I'll make sure I let you see the link. Don't worry, I'll send it to everybody.
Yes.
I love Martin.
No,
and I love showing Martin to people because they're like, what is this? And I'm like, exactly. That's our like Season of the Witch. You're just like, what's happening?
Yeah, that one's bizarre. Seasons is bizarre.
I
dude.
love Season. I'll just put it on sometimes and be like, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
no, he's my
It's
my
a
favorite.
vibe.
He's my
It's a
favorite
vibe
for
for sure.
horror director of all time. He's the
so
only
great.
reason that and I don't remember if I showed Keith or Stina this, but this is the only reason why I bought this.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And this was the only way you could get the 4K fucking original Dawn of the Dead
Ooh.
through fucking UK, because the deal that the fucker who has it here has is like, yeah, you can do it, but you're gonna give me like some absorbent millions and millions of dollars. And motherfucker's like, we're not theatrically releasing this shit to get the money back. We're
Weird.
putting this on home video, if you will,
Yeah.
or digital. And I guess out here it's just it's fucked. So
Our audiences can't see it, but I'm saying our audiences because I've now just assumed the position.
Oh, sorry, that was the second
No
site.
audience.
Yeah.
That is
That
no
was
audience.
the that was the
For
second
the
site,
few
Dawn of the
people in
Dead.
the back.
Yeah.
box.
Stefan's like DVD and Blu-ray collection makes me hard when I just see it. I'm like,
There you go,
oh,
there you
it's
go. Me
so
too.
great.
Me
It's so
too.
beautiful. Yeah, I'm like, mine is just in piles everywhere, but and I have to like move and then change it and stuff. But I love seeing like a massive collection and being like, oh, I just want to dig through this
It's
for
always
hours.
very impressive to me.
Yeah. Commitment.
Ellis, what have you been watching?
Well, I was just talking about this before we started, but I saw Pumpkinhead for the first time in the last couple of weeks,
Ooh.
which was great.
Classic.
And it was funny because at first, while I was watching it, I was like, I'm into this, but I don't like love it. And then by the end, I was like, I'm obsessed with this. And I was like, the moment I was so sad when the kid died, I was like, oh, that's so upsetting, so deeply upsetting. And then I was like, kill everyone. I was so ready for it. And that old lady part is like my dream. Or just like getting in. I would love to just be the
It's now
Pumpkinhead
my
baby.
dream to see you play that old lady. Are you kidding?
Yeah, it would be. I mean, that's my dream role always. Whenever
Like, that's
anyone's
a
like,
Kickstarter campaign right there.
oh, they're like, who would you like to play? I'm like, that. Like, my dream role is Isabella Johnny in Possession. That's my dream role. It's my favorite performance. It's amazing. And I've also been watching a lot of the Massive Attack, that music video that's like
Oh,
the
okay.
Phantasm Possession one with Rosamund Pike, which is
okay.
amazing if you haven't seen
Nice.
She's
Okay.
great.
she's great. I also started watching, but I haven't fully finished it, but it's awesome. Double Lover, which is on Shudder, and it's Francois Ozon, who's the French filmmaker, and it is like Cronenberg-y. It's like Dead Ringers, but like goes off. I was like watching it and just going, oh, this is everything I love. There's so much going on here. It's so hot. And so you're just like, ooh, like it's awesome. Which is my specialty. I want to be titillated and horrified. That's my desire for everything.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You know,
A little bit of
it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds.
The Hannah Montana moment.
Yeah. I also watched The Believers recently, which I'd never seen.
Oh, that's a classic. That's a classic.
I love John Schlesinger. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. And
oh no, he's good.
Martin Sheen that one's just great. And I love New York, like through the decades, to see it in different like days and ages and be like, what is this? So that was really cool. And then a lot of designing women, because you introduced me to Tubi, and now I put it on.
Now it's an obsession.
Constantly.
Yes.
And Another Period, which is the Natasha Leggero, Ricky Lindholm, the one where they're in like the 18th century or whatever, and they're just rich and terrible. It's so fucking funny.
I've never seen it.
It's hilarious. They're like 3 seasons. It's great. It's on Paramount Plus, I think.
See, that's one I don't have. I don't have Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus and Stars is what I need to get.
What?
$5 or something?
Yeah, which channel I have that I'm borrowing from someone else, that I'm stealing off of someone else. I don't know who's the idiot. I'm like, which ones do I pay for again? Oh, and I've been watching a lot of Preston Sturges films, because he's great if you're writing comedy. He's amazing. And his films, he is the filmmaker who, like, they will do a bit and then the bit will just keep going, and it's hilarious and works, but I'm like, no one else can get away with this. Like, I've never seen anyone else get away with like the insanity of.
What movies has he done?
He did I watched The Lady Eve and The Great McGinty this week. And then I also watched Christmas in July, and he's done like Sullivan's Travels. It's like he had this really prolific phase of comedies in the 40s. And it's just, they're like, the writing and directing is insane. Like, and he'll just do these things,
Lady
and
Eve.
I'll be the horse scene in Lady Eve is the hardest I've laughed in years. I laughed I was just sitting there watching it by myself and like loudly laugh. Like, they're having this intimate couple moment, and there's just a fucking horse that keeps like nuzzling them, like just continually, and you think it's over, and then the horse will like move, and then it'll come back and they just have to keep doing the scene while the horse is just like mauling them. It's really so funny. And it just goes on and on, and you're like, they have to stop at some point, and it just keeps going. It's so funny.
Long shots.
Oh, so good.
Oh my god.
So good.
Ugh.
So that's me.
What have you been watching?
I've been watching. Okay, so I've been sort of like pulling back from watching a lot of stuff. I always watch the basics: Family Guy, Rick and Morty, dumbass guy shows.
Things that every white dude loves.
Yeah, and it's more like those are the passive things that I have on, when I'm actually gearing up for Rick and Morty, because they have the new season coming out soon, next month.
I'm so excited.
I've only seen like one episode.
Yeah.
It's great.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It might be too cerebral for you. I don't know.
Oh, I get it. Okay, Pickle Rick, let's move along. Move it along.
I'm kidding. And okay, you want to know what I've been watching a lot of? And this is going to blow everyone's mind, right? I've been watching a lot of comedy, but it's been live comedy.
Yeah.
So I'm saying like outside the house, like outdoors, and I go there. So I've been watching a little bit of that, which has been weird. And that's been,
we went to a show last night.
Yep.
That's
awesome. Comedy Chateau.
Comedy Chateau.
We had our show last Friday. I'll be performing there again on Sunday. We have another show next month, doing a lot. I'm going again tonight on my wedding anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Love you, honey. Yeah.
Love you, honey.
And I tried.
She's sitting here waiting for her shout out.
I know. And
Come on.
By the way, this isn't even worse. What was worse was I tried picking a movie for us. And I normally have good taste in movies, and I normally pick a movie that's like, she's like, well, this looks weird. And then it turns out to be great. She's like, oh, okay, I trust you. And I fucking whiffed on this one. And I picked,
Oh no.
I picked Marjorie Prime. It's the one with John Hamm and I'm sorry.
Lois Smith.
Yeah, cool. And man, I could not even
Oh
fuck my
no.
life. It was like watching it was like, you know, when I don't know, you have a friend who's in like a play and they're not even in a good part, and you got to go to support them, and you get them flowers or something, but they're like just moving chairs, and it's a horrible play, and you're like, just poke me with a knife when it's over. I'm gonna go to sleep. And you maybe like you bring vodka because you know it's gonna be bad. It was like watching a play like that. We turned it off. I rarely do that.
That was like me the first time I saw the Glass Menagerie. I was like, this is not at all. No, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I expected. I was like, at intermission, I was like, if this weren't for an assignment, I'd be gone. Just left. Goodbye,
one of the all-time
farewell.
great classics.
I had to pull the fire alarm to get. I broke the glass. We just bailed on that one.
Yeah, I only walked out of one movie ever, man. The Unborn. I walked out of that fucking theater.
Yeah, and the thing is, it definitely felt like it was a play adapted to a film, because the dialogue was just like expositional and not conversational. You know, it wasn't realistic feeling. It was just too like, are they talking to me? You know, I thought they were talking to each other, but it feels like they know I'm watching them. Yeah, it was weird like that. And
Let me recite some Robert Frost poetry to you. That'll tell you about our inner life.
Oh my God.
I now love plays, but it took me until about 5 years ago to really love going to plays. And I did theater all growing up, and I'm an actor, and I love being in them. But for some reason, watching them always just felt like a chore to me. Now I can watch them and enjoy them. But the first Broadway play I went to, the thing was about to start. I didn't realize it was a play. I thought it was a musical. And I turned to my friend with this look of terror in my eyes and was like, wait, this is a play? Like, no, I'll fall asleep. Like, I've fallen asleep through really good theater many times. I'll just be like,
oh no.
But now I can. And that play was amazing. And it was like the Curious Incident of the Dog in Nighttime, which was unbelievable if you ever get to see it.
So you had a look of terror because it was not a musical?
Yeah, I know. Shocking. But not that shocking.
I will argue that
anyone...
no one can fall asleep in a musical. Can they? Like in a live theater?
Stefan can.
In a live theater?
I can't.
You're right.
It's really bad.
It's too, I don't know. I love musicals, so I can't even fathom. When people are like, I hate them. But, it's like that environment is so loud and in your face. Like, it's very, pay attention to me.
But for me, it's got to be like a dark ass fucking either horror or Tim Burton gothic type musical, because if it's anything else,
for me,
is he awake?
For me, there has to be like a foundation for the surrealism of the musical expression. I don't know if that's.
So you're like, I just want it to be written well. So that makes perfect sense.
It has to be. It has to be like Stefan saying, maybe horror, maybe comedy, or something like what was it? The Billy
Elliot?
No, the guy with the glasses from why am I blanking this guy's name? The Buddy Holly story. Buddy Holly.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The Buddy Holly story, all the music was framed like, here's the song that we performed at that show, and then there's style, so I can stand that. And I can stand when it's like a comedy, like the Book of Mormon, and it's like, this is just crazy town. Everything's funny. Okay, fine. But when it's like, I'm sad, fuck you. Fuck you for singing that. That's how
I say
with
fuck
that.
you for Keith Graberson. That's how I feel about it. I'll be like, I'm in, sing out your emotions. I want
no way. Nobody's singing out their emotions near me.
I'm gonna make you guys come to whatever musical I'm in, and then I'm just gonna die laughing, being like,
That's
how far did Keith survive?
I'm gonna be
before
there like
walking
this.
out? Yeah, Stina will be there.
And then
Stefan will be asleep, and Keith will have
and
left.
then the mailman shows up and he's singing along like that. What?
I'm a mailman.
How does he know the lyrics?
Yeah.
Who's playing the music
I'm
here?
alive.
Like the surrealism is just it's I'm sorry. I'm not
I hate your
connecting these
stand
dots.
placement.
I
what's
gotcha.
happening. You
Well,
know?
that's for me.
Gotcha.
That's like Singing in the Rain, right? My grandma's like, "Oh, you're gonna love this movie, honey. It's so good." And she puts on "Singing in the Rain," and I'm sitting there. I'm like, "Can you get the fuck out of the rain?"
You don't like
Can he?
singing in the rain. That's interesting.
Meanwhile, your
Love
grandmom
it.
is telling you not to do all of those things your whole life. And this is lovely. Yeah.
You can watch it, but don't do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She's like,
You'll catch a
"Oklahoma,
cold. Yeah.
Oklahoma. It's so amazing. You'll love it." And this movie, Four Feathers, that's like fucking 5 hours long. Oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love
I
Oh,
love
God.
all those things, although I've never seen the Four Feathers.
Oh my god. Well, do y'all want to hear what I've been watching?
Yes,
It's not
please.
very
Yeah,
exciting.
you should be able to talk. You're
it.
like, can you guys all shut up so I can keep talking?
No, it's okay. I was just it's pretty boring. Like it's pretty basic. Like we watched our like Keith was watching, you know, Rick and Morty and like those types of shows for us is Venture Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
If Ed grabs the remote, and Modern Family or the Goldbergs if I
Nice.
grab the remote. And he's never seen Modern Family, so he's just let me go on like a streak.
Oh, awesome.
He's like, "Do you want to watch Modern Family? I know you've been on that." And I was like, "You enjoy it too."
I'm
Please do."
trying to get through the Goldbergs. They're making them faster than I can watch them. I am so
Yeah.
like. I feel
We
like,
had to watch a couple just to be like, "God, we don't want to drown."
I feel
in
like I'm
these."
trying to scoop water out of a boat, and you know what I mean. I'm not keeping up with the.
Yeah,
I-
they've got a lot of seasons.
Yeah.
Stina, I used to work for Ty Burrell at his family's bar.
Oh, really?
And he's lovely. Yeah, he's wonderful.
Oh,
He's the
I
best.
love him. I
So.
love it. That show is just so good. And I
Okay.
hadn't seen it in a long time, and we just watched, like, we're almost through season 1 now. And we started watching, like, at the beginning of the week. Like,
Mm.
I've just been
Oh, you're
binging
plowing
them.
through.
Yes. And then the 2 movies that I watched, so we watched the Fire Festival documentary on Netflix. And there's 2 of those.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently this was the one where it was like, "Oh, this isn't the raunchy one. This isn't the crazy one." But nevertheless, that shit was still fucking insane. Like you watch it and you're like, how did it get that far? Like who raised this man? The man that like is in trouble and put it all together. Who raised him in a manner that he just did not take no for an answer? Until
Most
it was
dudes.
too late. Like the thing that blew my mind is he got arrested for the Fire Festival. Okay? He was bailed out for like $300K, right? So he's on bailout, on probation. He starts another scam with the email list for the Fire Festival. Like buy Met Gala tickets, buy Grammy tickets, and people are like, you can't buy tickets to the Met Gala. Like you have to be invited to that. You can't purchase a ticket to that. So, but he still managed to scam people on that damn list. And I was like, y'all, who lets you have money? Like, why are you allowed to be in society with money? It blew my mind. It blew my mind. And
a little Trump.
I call that innovation.
It
The
was
American
just-
dream.
It's gonna start selling.
and that's
steak.
what it was.
Yeah.
He literally, like, the entire Fire Festival was the promotional video that they made. Because they just hired a bunch of people to roll all the time and just partied for a week on a private island that they had bought with 10 of, like, the top supermodels in the world. It was this dude and Ja Rule just partying with these models for a week straight. And then they turned a promotional video out of it, and people were like, "Hey, I want to do that too at a music festival." And there was nothing set up. It just blew my mind. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't take it when people don't have common sense." I can't take it. The other movie that I watched was Almost Famous.
The best.
I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I was missing home. And that movie is filmed in San Diego. Like, Cameron Crowe was from San Diego, so
great
most
movie.
of it
Great movie.
was filmed, at least when he was home, most of it was filmed in San Diego. And I was like, I know all of these streets. I know the sports arena. I know Balboa Park when I see it. Like, oh my God. So I had a good time going down.
He was
memory
married
lane with that.
to Cameron Crowe was married to Goldie Hawn's daughter, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
Yeah.
he
No,
wasn't.
that wasn't. That
No?
wasn't.
Mm,
I
no,
thought.
no. She was married to. It was two musicians, and then Danny Fujisawa, I think, is her husband.
Oh, yeah.
But that's one of my all-time favorite movies, and Kate Hudson's amazing in that movie. That's one of my all-time
Yes.
favorite performances.
Penny Lane
It's
was...
the scene when he tells her the beer part breaks me every single time, and her reaction, her back and forth reaction to it.
The plane scene, I will never forget. That is probably one of the best. Poor man who never speaks.
Everyone's like,
And then just,
no.
I also forgot that Jimmy Fallon was in that movie as the manager.
Yeah.
And he was such like a sleazeball character, and you were like, why does this fit so well? I don't understand. But it was one of those things where it was like, oh, I forgot how much I love this movie.
This
I
is
love
a
this
house
movie
of
so
lies.
I love that movie so much.
So good.
All right, do y'all want to go and review this movie that we got going on today?
Yes.
All right, so we are reviewing It Follows. And I believe that was when did that come out? That came out
2014.
2014. Okay, I had it written down and then I looked up Cameron Crowe and just screwed everything up.
Yeah.
But I had seen this movie before and I loved it. I loved watching it again a second time. There were so many things that I missed the first time, but I loved it.
I will say this: the best part, this movie was nearly flawlessly executed. That's what's great about this film. Like there's issues I have with the plot, I always do, and the story and the writing.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of scenes where I was like, oh my God, don't do that. Please don't do that. But for the most part, this was like nearly flawlessly executed. And I would even go as far as to say, if every single horror movie with a theme, with an idea, with a concept, executed it, filmed it, directed it, and acted it the way this was made, we would be in a much better world. We would have awesome horror movies.
Yeah.
And the music.
The music.
Disaster piece.
Oh.
So
Every
good.
time it started playing music, I was like, I want this
Yep.
as like my background music. Like when I'm walking down the street and like if we had the technology where people could hear your like background music, like of just you, that's what I'd want it to be. It was just, it was so nice on the ears.
And that
So
would
nice on
happen,
the
but
ears.
there would also be someone following you. So you like have to make a choice. Like you'd get the music, but you'd also maybe be killed. Not sure.
The concept, though, it's funny. Like this movie, first of all, this movie is like an allegory for STDs or something. Like it's a little bit of a sexual awakening, kind of so sexualized everything, in a relatable way, not in an overtly like, from one perspective kind of way. It's just generally in a human way. It was really sexualized, but I even just wrote here like it swallows. Should that be no? But like, but it okay. So how there's the classic dynamic of the horror, like in Cabin in the Woods, was it where they really ironed it out? And there's the fool and the scholar, and then we have a new character. It's the cuck, and that's there's usually one, but it's not identified as that. That's Paul. Poor Paul the cuck.
Poor Paul.
Poor
Yeah.
Paul just wanted to love that poor girl, and she was like, not you.
It's never Paul.
It's never a Paul.
It's never Paul. Paul never gets it. Paul ends up rich as shit and like married to someone wonderful. When he's 40, but like he has to suffer for like a solid 15, 20 years.
Paul is literally the like 85% of Ducky characters that don't get a Ducky ending.
Yes.
And
He had every aspect of a Ducky character. He just
spoiler, he did get there, but it was like
in the saddest way possible.
She didn't iterate this, but she basically the whole movie was like, not even if a ghost was trying to murder me would I like. That's worse than the last man on earth. You know what I mean? Like, not even if it's like life or death, gun to my head. Still no. It's still a hard no.
What made it worse was that she ended up, so spoiler alert, she ended up sleeping with Greg.
Mm-hmm.
She ended up sleeping with Greg.
But she fucked everybody in this film. I loved it.
And then she just like...
Bless her heart.
Well, first of all, she didn't explain what was going on like she was thoroughly explained to, which I think is a key. That's just playing for everyone, you know?
Now, when you say explanation, that's what I felt was really jarring about this movie. That was pretty hardcore. Like, you know, you can take pictures, you can write stuff down, you can do a lot to explain stuff to me. Ethering me and tying me into a fucking wheelchair.
Okay. Let me ask you this though. Keith.
Dinky.
If you slept with a girl and she left you a detailed note that said, "Hey, so something's gonna be following you. It's going to be walking towards you slowly, but if it touches you, it's going to kill you. And then it's going to come back and kill me and the person before me. And it's just going to start this whole cycle. So you need to sleep with someone else to pass off this weird ghost thing. Got it? Cool. Love, Stacy. Like, what would you do with that? You would immediately crumble it up.
I'll give you all the answers. Okay, so I would say...
Kobe to the basket, and that'd be it, and you'd be dead.
I would say, A... Stacy's a crazy bitch. Of course. This is crazy. No way. And Stacy, but by the way, that's the last time I'm fucking with Stacy because like I don't want to get my dick bitten off or anything weird, you know. But I'd be like, also here's what I would also think. Like if Stacy left that note and then she ethered me and tied me into a wheelchair, I'd be like, okay, but times 100 everything I just said, you know. But if Stacy said that in the note and I'm like, you know, she said that, but this old dude is just beelining straight for me. And he's, you know what I mean? I'd be like, okay. And then I asked somebody, hey man, why is that your friend? That guy coming over? I don't see no guy. I'd be like, Stacy, wait up. Stacy, where'd you go, girl?
But I mean, what if it's behind you? Like that scene on the beach that I totally adore because you're like, oh, it's Yara. And then Yara's like, hey, you guys should come into the water. And you're like, oh, no, that's not Yara at all.
No.
Oh, no, that's not Yara. That was such a well done scene.
Yeah. Now, okay, can I ask a question? Because, you know, I got to get the physics worked out here. Because
always. Yeah.
If they're forcing physics on me, there's backstory here. They're trying to say, like, if it's this, then it's that. You know, like, if you're forcing physics at me, then I gotta figure it out. If not, then not. Okay. Do BJs count?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't think so. I think it has to be
like,
full
you know what I mean? Like, how does it break down? If it's anal, does it you turn into a vampire? Like, how are there?
Well,
so anal's a question mark because the filmmaker did say that they were like, it doesn't matter like who you slept with, it doesn't matter if they're gay, it doesn't matter, like it crosses all the lines. Like it doesn't stop at anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like only straight people can pass this. They'd be like, woo, we're good. Yeah, like so I'll be fine.
Yeah. So I think that I don't think BJ's would count just because of the scene when Greg died. When he died, the creature basically like screwed him to death, right?
You mean his mom?
She was dry humping him. I don't know.
It was like a Ghostbuster slime kind of thing.
It's like sex and pee and all
this
of it.
This is a sex monster then.
It's a sex monster for sure. Okay. And I think that I know that it originally, the concept he had for a long time and the sexual element only came in later. And it kind of came out of a bunch of like anxiety dreams that he had. And like nightmares that he had where someone was slowly approaching him and he couldn't escape, which is like apparently like an anxiety dream that a lot of people have. I was like, I
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
I've
Oh my
had that
God.
dream. Like we've all had
yeah.
that, like, oh God, we can't escape. It's coming. There's no way. You're like
Yeah.
hoping you don't die. Like you're trying not
Yeah,
to.
I've had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
It's
okay,
gonna slowly get to you no matter
Yeah.
how far you run.
so
Mhm.
here's a question. If you're dating somebody, then it just goes back and forth as the last.
I mean,
Unless
who-
you'd wanna fuck a rando.
Who's
Like,
fucking
Yeah.
who?
sure.
like I would like if this happened to me and like the person who I was dating was like, "Hey yo, sorry, but we got to figure this out." It's like just go to Vegas, find somebody on the corner, boom,
Bunny
and
Ranch,
then
baby.
leave.
Just go to the Bunny Ranch.
Ooh.
That see, when he passed the prostitutes, I was like, that would literally be the easiest way to get this thing just like
and
outta
he
here.
does. I mean, and he
Yeah, but
essentially
I
he
thought
does,
about that, but then they're going to be the least aware, and so it'll just come. They'll probably be the most likely to be
Direct.
so
killed.
you're just like killing prostitute. What is that? Yeah, you're like, so
And
that's a magic.
well,
Yeah.
you're also just basically bringing it back to yourself. Now, I get
Yeah.
that I don't like the wheelchair idea, but you need to really like fuck a Navy SEAL and be like, yo, bro, they're coming for you know what I mean? And like that motherfucker ain't going down. Fuck Rambo, and then be like,
Oh,
that,
okay.
I feel like Rambo would
at
still go
least
down.
a week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Rambo
I
would
feel
still
like
go down.
because
You're
it
like, this
disguises
thing doesn't care if you're
itself.
Rambo.
Yeah, it disguises itself as
He
somebody
was
you
that
love.
7-foot tall man, so it can come as
You
anything.
want a war? You got a war.
Yeah, because she saw it originally as Greg breaking into Greg's house, and then Greg saw it as his mom, and then when she
Yeah.
left, she saw it as Greg again.
Yeah, there's
So-
that whole back and forth. I remember reading kind
Yeah.
of that weird.
It's just whoever like
whoever
how you
is
perceive
gonna
it.
affect you, because that's the
Yeah.
whole thing about her dad is that it affects her because it's her dad. Like it has to be someone that like does something to you. It can't just be like Gary on the street. Now, I mean, it could be, but it's not going to be as scary.
Yeah.
What are you doing,
like
Gary?
Yeah.
Like
Another
the person
question.
at the end that you see in the distance or whatever. Sorry, spoiler. That's not a person we've seen before, or you necessarily know, but you're like, ugh, still
Yeah.
coming.
Now another
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
Condoms.
It doesn't fucking matter.
That doesn't factor into
I
this
wouldn't-
whatsoever. Whether
Yeah,
it's
I
there's
wouldn't
not
think
a
about
there's
that.
not a demon condom, but I want to make that movie.
There's holy water on this condom. We'll be safe.
Ooh.
Babe. We'll be safe.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Is it a demon? Is it like or is it just something completely different? Because I don't know. It kind of got me that you could shoot it.
It's a thirsty.
You
it's a
can shoot
thirsty-
it, but it doesn't really do that much to
It's
it.
a really
And
horny,
that-
thirsty entity.
Yeah,
so-
and they talked about, the director also talked about the whole pool situation, kind of like the third act where you have
Yeah.
to like attack the monster and all that kind of stuff. He basically described it and was like, "Oh, it's a terrible plan." He basically said, he was like, "It's kind of a terrible plan. That whole part is kind of terrible, but that's also, I thought of it like kind of like Scooby-Doo. Like you just kind of, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
They're teenagers. They're not necessarily gonna have the right answers, but they're just gonna go for it."
I gotta say
Yeah.
that was one of the
Whoa.
I
Hey,
know,
girl.
right?
Vroom
Fast and
vroom.
Furious.
It's following me. That was one of the flubs that I thought, like when he was like, "Do you trust me?" And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, you did not just say that. That was one sin I had to put on the meter.
I love
You trust me?
Pete's-
Just trust
Pete's sin meter.
Like,
and
just
where it
say
lives.
what you're doing. Like my wife, it's our wedding anniversary. My wife, we trust each other. And if she ever said, "Do you trust me?" I'd say,
I'd be like, "Uh-oh."
"No. What's your fucking plan? What are you talking
What do
about?
you
Why are you
mean,
asking
do you
me that
trust me?
instead of just saying
like-
like,
I
oh
wish
yeah, I'm
she,
gonna
like,
go. I'm gonna
yeah.
get the car and run it over. Why don't you just say that?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ugh.
yeah.
Anyway,
That would have been my plan, right? To get the
Yeah.
most heaviest car you could possible, stuck on the thing, just to see it wiggle on the ground, and it can't. Then
Yeah, like
a
nail.
hacksaw.
Yeah,
Well-
just take something and stab it to the ground and just
Yeah,
don't
and-
let it move. Be like Otto or whatever the fucking
I think another thing that they kind of that they struggled
Fido,
with
the
was
demon or the
was-
zombie.
like the interpretation of what was happening. Like I get that. I loved the fear factor. First of all, the scares were great, and
Yeah.
the manifestation of the entity in the heart as like these these tortured people, coming back from the dead or whatever the case, and they're just like staring and beelining and slow, like all that had like some of the best scare qualities that I've seen in a lot of horror movies.
Yo, that giant man, when he walked into the
No.
bedroom, I was like,
No.
I looked at Ed, I was like, did you just see that? That was terrifying. He was like, no, I missed it. So I rewound the movie and I was like,
Ed,
watch
yeah.
this. When he was like, hello, I was like, no.
What did Ed say?
Hello,
I hate
pretty
it.
lady. He's like Andre the Giant just walks in.
But I
did Ed
think
say?
what they struggled with is sort of like a comprehension of what was going on and balancing that with the fear. They sort of went back and forth between like, we're all scared, we don't know what's happening, and like, no, we know exactly what's happening, and it's so weird, and this is how it's working. But like, so, there was one scene where she got in the car, left the cabin, and was driving away from her friends right before she got in the accident. And her friends are running. They all run past the ghost. And then so you have the car, the friends running, and then the ghost slowly walking. I'm like, stop the car. You guys all just keep walking like 10 feet in front of this thing and think, and be like, what should we do? I don't know. Well, it's over there. Why don't we get this really long pole and just stab it to death? I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? If you have
It
your
did have
body-
supernatural strength.
It's also.
I don't know if it would just let you poke it. You know what I'm saying?
It very much falls into the slowly walking. It's hugely influenced by Halloween. Michael Myers slowly walking. Like it's that
Honestly,
fear that like it's inevitable. Like
yeah,
even
I was gonna say this is a single zombie movie. Really, this is a single supernatural zombie. Is
well, and it's old school zombies. It's not like the ones that run. And I think that's it. To me, it actually adds the fear factor because knowing that like you can outrun it and it's still gonna get you is like the worst fucking thing ever. Because it's like. Yeah.
You gotta stop sometime.
If you can't outrun it, it's like, oh God, well, it's for sure coming. But like, if you can outrun it, then you're just sitting there being like, cool, it's still coming. Like, which just falls into this.
You hit the nail on the head. It's the inevitability of it.
Yeah,
the worst part.
It's so
and that's
terrifying.
what makes it. That's what zombie movies. That's what gives them this sort of like sense of dread, is that it's never gonna end. You're just fighting,
endlessly.
You know what? It got me thinking. Like, I'm assuming that this has been around for a very long time. What did they do before, like, horses and cars? Like, were they just like, running? Just running forever? Like, I don't know. That just, like, scared me. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, what if you had no car? Or what if you didn't have anything?
Then the question would be, what's the origin of this thing, and then does it go all the way back to prehistoric time? Like how far can you go back?
And that's interesting that you bring that up because it's so subtle that you almost don't notice it. But the film kind of exists out of time. Like the opening scene, there's a cell phone. Everyone has newer cars. It's kind of like the present. But then everything else kind of exists where like. They don't have smartphones yet, and they like drive old cars,
and
like they have
pictures of
different
like
their clothing. Like it's hats off to the construction of it. That like she has the Yara or whatever it's called, but then all the TVs are super old, and they don't really like it. Just and the way they costumed it too. The clothing was all sorts of different like styles and eras.
You had no idea what era it was,
and
actually
the weather.
in.
Too, because they'll be in swimsuits and then they'll be in like long clothes. You never know kind of what time period it is, even like within a year. Like you don't know how long it's been, you don't know where it is. It's real disorienting, which I think kind of adds to the like out of placeness.
It was nice though. It was cool not to know. Like there were some scenes where I was like, oh yeah, this has a big 80s feel, and then it was like, this is a big 70s feel.
Yeah.
Like when she was that scene where the girl broke in through the kitchen and was walking towards her, that was very like 70s because she was scrambling and then she scrambled up the stairs, but you just saw this person up close getting closer, and I was like, that's like a big Michael Myers type setup.
You know what I love about this movie too is that you were talking about the scariest moments. Hilariously enough to me, the scariest moments in this film, not psychologically, but like jump wise, are all the cat jumping out of nowhere. There isn't a cat, but like it's when the ball hits the window. I remember being in the theater and jumping so hard. And like, or when the person breaks through the wall and it scares the shit out of you. Like it has good jump scares that aren't really necessarily super consequential. Actually,
I thought the scariest part was the above ground pool. Ugh.
Well, and apparently the ball has some significance. Like it shows up around the time. There's always a ball significant. I don't know what it is, but like when people are going to get attacked or killed, there's some
more sexual stuff.
Yeah, more sexual stuff. It reminded me kind of like The Changeling, you know, with
that's classic.
ball
By the
that's
way,
rolling down, like all that kind of stuff.
The worst part was she banged those boat dudes for nothing. Like,
but did she really? That's another question that people have, because I always thought she did, but then someone was like, but she's wearing the same t-shirt. Like there's this whole thought that maybe she didn't have sex with them, and that's why it keeps coming. Like I
think it's a deleted scene, if I'm not mistaken. I think
I felt like I was led to believe that she banged them, but then they got killed.
That's what I always thought, but when I was reading the trivia, people were like, it's kind of one of the most debated parts of the movie is if she did or not.
And I think that what that brings up too, that I thought of, and this goes to Christina's point, is that, so what about the water? So if you get in a boat and you go to, or on a plane, let's say even.
The director said if it was on a plane, they would still find you.
Really?
Really? Because that's why I was like, why
he has
didn't
answers.
Get in the pool?
It's hilarious. Like, I think he's just...
So did you texted him?
I texted him. Oh, I wish. I would. Have you guys seen... so his next movie, Under the Silver Lake. Did any of you see that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. People either love or hate that movie, and I love it. I think it's brilliant. But it gets at a fear in like my soul. Like it's
Under a Silver Lake?
Under the Silver Lake. It's Andrew Garfield and Riley.
Oh, I remember that trailer.
But people, it kind of came and went, and it's like I think it's like a 3 hour, 2.5 hour movie. Like people are really into it or they're not. I loved it, but it upset me in a very weird way.
Under the Silver Lake.
And apparently his first movie, The Myth of the American Sleepover, was so loved by like so many different people that like that's how It Follows came about, was because his previous movie was on like the festival circuit and people just went ape shit over it.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. My buddy and I got into a debate, or not really a debate, but a conversation, because he felt that, or we were both saying that it, like the feels we got from the original Nightmare on Elm Street and this film, very similar in the sense that if someone, you know, obviously, and It Follows, if they have sex, they can see it. You know, if they have a dream about Freddy, then they can see it. If they're not dreaming about Freddy, they don't know who he is, or they can't see Freddy, you know.
Yeah.
Or if they don't have a lack of sleep. So
well, one of my favorite memories is of going to this movie theater with my little sister, and we both love horror movies. And she jumped and like the chair broke, like, and it was like an extra scare. And then we sat in the theater afterwards and like talked about the horror references and talked about like Halloween and Nightmare on Elm. It was like one of my favorite memories. And the Nightmare on Elm Street part, the really big part is it Greg dies, because that reminds me a lot of Glenn's death.
Yeah.
In Nightmare, the original Nightmare. Yeah. And it kind of, the house looks similar. Like it's very much like she's trying to save him and she can't save him.
Like, it had a big like poltergeist feel to it, especially with all that like static when she's just looking into it.
Yes. Oh my God, that old man is so scary. The old man in Poltergeist.
Let me in.
Oh, I made the mistake of watching Poltergeist 2 super hungover, and I was like, the vomiting scene, I was like, ugh.
You mean the Geiger vomit worm?
Yeah, that was amazing. But the movie, so It Follows what it was inspired by Creature from the Black Lagoon, which is one of his favorite.
Classic.
Which is kind of like the monster's coming. It's not like, it's an old classic. He would have loved to do It Follows in 3D, which one of my birthdays, we went and watched Creature from the Black Lagoon 3D, and it was so much fun. An old movie theater. He was inspired by, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, The Thing. The score was most likely influenced by the Halloween 3 score, which is amazing.
Oh, I love it.
And
the Halloween.
What'd you say? Oh yeah.
Oh God. Halloween.
Oh God. Silver Shamrock.
Shamrock.
Also, if you guys haven't seen In Search of Darkness, which is on Shudder, I've been watching that a lot. So great. Such a great
amazing.
It's amazing. It's like now they have 2, and so it's like you have 8 hours of people just talking about
horror, man.
experiences in horror. It's so much fun, and they
Oh,
go
wow.
through all these '80s films.
That sounds like so much fun.
It's so much fun.
Shudder's
And,
cheap if you have Amazon Prime. You just add it together.
I think Shudder is like $6 a month. It's like really worth it.
I may have
and
to
they put
invest
all
and
sorts
get
of
it.
cool stuff on it.
I may have to do it. Okay, y'all, it's that time.
Oh,
we gotta
Sorry,
rate
can I
it.
say one last thing?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Also, it was
I have more things too. But go
of
ahead.
course,
Do you?
Keith and Ellis will talk until everyone's dead. Paris, Texas. He was watching Paris, Texas a lot before he shot this,
okay.
which is he used, he shot this film with a wide lens, which is that's one of my all-time favorite movies if you've never seen it. And it's great.
I have not.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I'm gonna
It's
have to write that
heartbreaking.
down.
It's Harry Dean Stanton, Natasha Kinski,
Oh, I love
and
Harry Dean Stanton.
it's Wim Wenders and Dean Stockwell. It takes place, in Texas and LA, and it's awesome. But it'll break
Ooh.
you. I used to listen to
God.
the soundtrack. There's a very iconic scene in that film, and I used to listen to the soundtrack while I would drive from Santa Monica to West Hollywood and back. And they have the audio of that scene on the soundtrack, and I would just sob. Like it's the most heartbreaking
my
scene ever.
God.
I just sob while driving.
I have a controversial question really quick too before I know we got to move forward. I'll just say it really quick, but
6.5 inches.
what yes.
A
What,
solid 4 for me.
what if this shit happened in some part in Europe, right? Where like certain taboo things over here we wouldn't do, but in Europe they would do, right?
Yeah.
For instance, like when they're at the beach house, nobody can see the creature yet but her, right? Well, now what if this was in Europe and their views in this kind of dire situation as far as, and I'm not into this, so I'm just gonna throw it out there. Granted, it is a horror movie though. What if it happened in Europe and they're like, you know what, we can't help you unless we all have like a fucking orgy, and then we can all see the monster.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too that you bring that up, because I do love that the lead of the film is a woman. And
Yeah.
I think that adds to
Because
it
if she would have
being
just fucked
so-
every that's a little
Yeah, but
incestual,
I think
but
because
they'd all
it's-
see the monster.
But I think like our American like Puritan like kind of viewpoint on sex, it adds to the film too.
What?
Yeah.
Because
How would that change, Stefan?
Well, no, I'm just saying that because then when they can all see it, then they can all strategize better, because when they're at the pool, she's still the only one. He's over there. It's like, really? Fucking,
Well, I think that concept
also,
was
do
sort
you
of
have to come? Do you have to come to pass it along? That's my biggest.
all good questions.
So
Now you're
hopefully
talking my
she's
language.
getting lots of O's. So
Now you're
hopefully
talking
that,
my language.
yeah.
And
oh.
Stefan, to your point, I think that was in there. That was like they were conceptualizing all that because that one guy, Greg did that.
Fucking
and
Greg.
Then, then of course, little cuck Paul wanted to the whole time. I don't think that was outside the
realm of possibility.
Yeah, and it wasn't out of the question. I think they maybe, I don't know, that
because Greg should like
I don't know that in Europe it's just a slam dunk, like we're all fucking, like I don't know.
No, I know.
That different.
Yeah, but I definitely think like it adds to it that it's an American film, because we are so weird about sex, and we're especially weird about young like women having, like we're very puritanical about like men can do anything, and then women are we judge them
supposed to be pure and all that other baloney.
Yeah, it's all that bullshit. So
yeah,
but I think that's an interesting question. Like, how would it be made? And it
wouldn't be a
feels
bad strategy.
very-
I feel like.
Yeah.
So
we should rate it.
Well,
yeah.
I've got more
Keith's
questions.
last thought.
Well, then, Keith, we'll start with you. Ask your questions, and that'll help
in
you
my
rate
rating.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, my only question is now I'm trying to get a time frame and an idea for how the opening scene, where the girl who's running from somebody and actually does get killed. So of course it goes back to the one before. Like, how does that fit into the structure? Does that relate it to the first guy that gave it to her? And where did I'm like, was that just a random scene? It felt like now as a sort of a.
It's a setup. It's the setup scene to get you into it. But watching it this time and hearing about the timeline, kind of how that is one of the only scenes that seems really set in the present. I wonder if everything we're watching in the film has already happened. Like it's the past, which kind of makes me love it even more, that is a take you could kind of think about it if you wanted to.
The other thing that bugged me too is when Greg finally did have sex with her, and then they were in the hospital room for 3 days. Like sometimes it's 6 minutes, sometimes it's 3 days. It just feels willy-nilly. I'm not going to get bogged down into that because, like I said, the brilliant execution of this film is what you should watch it for. And like I said, from the top, I wish all horror movies were produced and made this way, this level of quality, and we would have no. And I even mean blockbusters dial it back down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
everything should be made like this film, and I'd be happy. Of course, then we'd have less diversity in film. But I'm just saying, this was really well produced.
I think you could, though. I think it could.
And the only thing I have, is I think that the more you offer the physics, then the more questions are on the physics. You're never going to be able to answer those questions. So the only thing I would change in this film, would made it a little bit more vague of a concept of like, I don't know. It's just when it follows and make that just more vague and not like sexually transmitted disease. Everything else I fucking loved. It was bomb. I'm going to give it 4.5.
Nice. That's what I was going to give it too. I'm going to give it a 4.5 stars because I love the music. It makes you ask a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It makes you ask a lot of questions about the movie, and the movie was entertaining. You got to see like, oh, like this is inspired by this, and like if you like horror movies, you're gonna recognize certain setups and like, oh, that's like, this is very Freddy or this is very, Michael Myers. Like you see a lot of the classic tropes, but it's not the way you think that they're gonna play out. So I love this movie. This movie is one of my favorites. So 4.5 stars.
Also, shout out for male nudity. I'm always in for that.
Always in for male
I was like,
nudity.
the naked. They had to reshoot some of the footage with people with pants on and underwear on for the commercials.
It wasn't as explicit as it could. It was a little bit like, I feel like you couldn't see, and they were just like,
it was enough for me. I love me,
Yeah, that's what it was like when I was in the theater and they're driving off in the car, and then you see the dude with the like fucking 80s afro or the fucking Amish beard on his crotch, and then she looks up and you're like,
I love an Amish beard on a crotch. I love to have to dig through.
I was like, what the fuck?
I'd give it 5 stars. I have no qualms with it. I think it's one of the few films that I would say it's one of the best films I've seen in the last 20 years. And I applaud the director because I think like when you eventually see Under the Silver Lake, and you'll either be like really into it or you'll be like, what the fuck? I like to see people take risks. I would much prefer, like, I don't have much of an interest in seeing. There are a lot of films where I'm like, yeah, I'd watch it, but like I'm not like dying to see it. But like if I know that like a filmmaker is gonna like take you somewhere, I'm in. I'm always in. So I don't have any issues.
Yeah.
I like that. What about you, Stefan?
I want to say something really quick too. I'm with Keith, man. I want to see them like kidnap some special forces, dude, and like fucking gas them and shit. Put them in the fucking chair and then tell them and just let them loose. Because to me, that would be fucking hilarious. It'd
be very Day of the Dead.
Oh yeah, he's just going around emptying out his bank account, fucking hitting up all the hookers and shit.
He's got like a shotgun. Follow this.
Yeah. He's just trying to buy time.
Got one liner.
I would love to watch those people die. That you think are the people that you're like, he'll be fine. No, he will not be fine.
You know what I mean? So I think that would be amazing. Just to see somebody rifle through like all the like neighborhood prostitutes, and he's like a special force. I don't know. I just think that'd be fucking hilarious. And booby traps, right? He'd have booby trap skills, I would hope. Booby traps. I don't know. I really like the film. I agree with everybody on the panel. It's definitely an awesome movie. I love the soundtrack. I love the cinematography. I love a lot of the indie little things and quirks that are in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because no film is 100% perfect. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you can edit a piece of shit that you made into a great movie. That is possible. So I've been told. This is not one of those. It was really, suspenseful, had some really good horror stuff. Like the beginning when you see the first kill on the beach with the girl on the phone, her car's parked and you can see that it's coming, before the camera comes back to show you the devastation of what's done to the body. and then you see the leg just all fucking, you know.
Mhm.
And I really like the child actors because it's really hard to cast child actors like at all, you know.
Maika Monroe is amazing.
Oh yeah,
She
really,
should
really.
be-
A
she should
lot
be-
of those
she's
folks
done a
should
lot
be.
of good stuff. But,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm always like, anytime she's in something, I'm excited to watch it.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They should be casting those folks in some more stuff. And this guy, hopefully, he does a sequel at some point, or an extension onto the lore. Even if they don't explain the entity or the demon or whatever the fuck it is, I'm fine with that. But I would like to see more of people that it followed, if you will.
the universe. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll
I
get
think
more.
that would be interesting. Even if it was in the past, I don't give a shit. Feudal Japan, fucking the medieval times. I just want to see like different mindsets deal with the same problem. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, they're on
A
horses.
variety of people. Yeah.
I think that would be, pretty interesting, seeing a dude in medieval times go into a bar and just fuck all the different chicks in the bar, I think that'd be hilarious. But rating wise, for me, I'd give it a 6.
Out
Yeah.
of 5?
Like what?
Wait, we can do that? I'd
No.
give it a 6 too.
Hard
Hard 6.
Yeah, hard 6 inches. I mean 6. No, I give I give it a 5. I give it a 5 out of 5.
That's an average.
5 out of 5.
That's an average of 4.5 stars. So this is a must watch for you.
This is a must watch
Yeah.
for sure.
Sick fucks. You better watch this
Had you
fucking
all
movie.
had everyone seen it before we did this?
Mhm.
I saw it in the theater, baby, when that
Okay,
shit
yeah,
came
so
out.
did
God
I.
damn it.
Yeah, that was the best.
This is a good one. Okay, you want to see what I picked for next week?
Yes.
Okay.
Me?
So I'm pretty confident in all of these. So
Uh-oh.
if
Now
you
you're
guys
scaring me.
if you guys don't like it, then oops, hold on. I had this up.
What links are here? I've never heard of that one.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit.
Ooh,
So
it's an
this
A24.
this is Midsummer.
I knew this was coming. I already knew
told
it.
you that I want to go to that festival.
I know what
in
Keith's
Sweden.
voting for.
No, you said it would be cool to go.
Yeah, and then I got the opportunity and I
Look,
decided
I
to
don't
do
mind
it.
you going. I just wish you would have told me. That's all.
Dude, she needs a therapist. You've been wanting out of this stupid relationship for like a year now.
Love the
And don't forget
violin.
about all of the beautiful Swedish women you'll meet in June.
Okay, guys.
That's not her again. Seriously?
Babe, what's happening? Danny.
I was so very sorry to hear about what happened.
I'm sorry.
I invited Danny to come to Sweden. You know what she's been going through.
Christian says you've got this special week planned.
It's sort of a crazy festival, special ceremonies and dressing up.
That sounds fun.
Unbelievable.
Welcome and happy midsummer. Skål!
What time is it?
9 p.m.
That can't be right. The sky is blue.
This is what 9 p.m. is like here.
Okay.
How long have you two been together?
Just over 3.5
You haven't
years.
seen this one?
4 years.
I have not.
Okay.
Yeah?
What do you
I
think?
own the director's cut.
It's
Oh,
like-
you lucky bastard. I have the regular. I want the director's cut.
So beautiful.
Tomorrow's a big day.
Is it scary?
What is it?
It
I can't wait for his next movie.
What am I going through?
My favorite is when they watch The Spy Who
You
Shagged
just
Me.
need to acclimate.
I don't want to acclimate. I want to
My
go.
favorite part of this film.
Absolutely not.
What's happening?
I don't know why you invited us.
That's why you look so guilty right now, because you know.
We only do this every 90 years. I was most excited for you to come.
Have you guys done The Wicker Man yet?
No,
You said
but
the
No, we
original
have
because the one with
not.
Nicolas Cage, I just want to burn to the ground.
No.
Okay, yeah, the original is the fucking shit. And did you see the sequel? They did a sequel.
No, I didn't.
too.
I need
Fucking
to.
amazing.
Okay.
The Wicker
Okay.
or something. I have it. I forgot what it's called.
So Midsummer was
The Wicker
pick,
Tree.
the
Wicker-
pick that I was
yeah, I
like,
think so.
You know what? Everybody's going to love this. Now, these ones are a little bit more for me. This is a 2019 movie called Little Monsters.
And you say you're not a comedian. This one's just for me.
Lieutenant, sir, why are we here? It's zombies again.
Oh boy, here we
Fast
go.
ones or slow ones, sir?
Slow.
Thank God they're slow.
Next stop.
Oh, I've been wanting to see this one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this one. I've been wanting to see this one.
Oh, Josh Gad.
We having a super fun time on our trip.
I want you all in a line in front of me and away we go. Why are we stopping?
That's Lupita Nyong'o
Must be
or
something
something?
in the way.
Yeah, Nyong'o.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see this one actually.
Stop the tractor! Are you okay? Yes.
This is basically Midsummer.
Who knows how to play tag? Well, those funny-looking people out there are it.
We have kids out here.
Oh my God, I don't give a shit.
We're all gonna die.
Are we gonna die, Miss Caroline?
No, it's part of the game.
The zombies are not real.
Like, fuck, they're not.
It is a bit scary.
What are we doing? We're scared. What's the song we can sing?
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
We can't stay here indefinitely.
I'm not going anywhere. You're bigger idiots than I thought, and I thought you were both the stupidest people I've ever met.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
My job is to keep you safe. Stay here until I get back.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
That kind of behavior is unacceptable.
Max started
Max
it.
is 5 years old. And if you can't use appropriate language with a 5-year-old, I'm going to have to ask you to disembark the tractor tree and wait for us back at the bus.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
How do you like it, huh? Oh, God, what have I done?
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Awesome.
What's that?
Oh, I got caught in the middle of a jam fight. Don't taste it, okay?
Okay.
Not to be confused with the Fred, what's his name one.
Fred
right?
Savage, I love that one.
Yeah.
With Howie Mandel. Oh my god.
That's the
name?
one. Little Monsters.
That was Little Monster. No, what was that one's?
Little Monsters.
That was
Also
Little
Little
Monsters.
Yeah, not to be confused with the Fred
Yeah, not to
Savage
be
one.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because that's
And
what.
Howie Mandel.
Yeah. I was like, wait, is this the? It's not the same one. And this is okay. So this movie is from 1980,
Oh boy.
and it's
Yes.
called City of the Living Dead.
It's
Oh
so
yeah.
good.
Oh yeah. This is classic. I know what this is. This is classic. Keith would hate this one.
Oh, he would hate it. He'd have so many questions. The grave part.
God, I'm so glad that cinematography has come so far.
It's fine.
There's a lot of like zooming and check it out. It's a movie. You know,
I'm eye rolling.
Disorienting.
Yeah.
I'm eye rolling at Keith.
City of the dead.
You know, that comes from the 60s. They zoomed the fuck out of everything in the 60s.
I love the zooms.
You ever watch with the Planet of the Apes
Close those gates.
series from there?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, this scene is amazing. So good. Cool.
Did you see, when you were in this trance, did you see anything besides that tombstone?
Oh, yes. I saw a priest
Adorable.
who, by hanging himself, opened the gates of hell.
Sandra.
Oh, Sandra.
She's still here. She's still in the house.
Get her out!
That's Sandra. That's Sandra.
Oh,
Fulci!
Yeah, Fulci, man.
This is. Ugh.
One of my favorites is
Maggots.
the Beyond. I love
That's
the Beyond.
This is the first in that trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the Beyond is the second one.
Oh yeah, I love.
This is the first one, and then the third one is. Oh, that's
Okay.
it.
Guess what?
What?
It's All Saints' Day.
But in an implacable enemy, whose search for blood is never satiated.
I don't know. It's not a
Wait,
bad film.
oh,
It's not a bad
it's-
film. I just love the Beyond much
It's
better.
so great. It's the City of the Living Dead, the Beyond, and then House by the Cemetery, I think.
Yep.
Okay, good.
I've
I'm
only
glad I
seen-
picked the first one. 'Cause
Yeah,
I was
I've only
like,
seen the Beyond the whole way through. I think I've seen most of. I was watching City of the Living Dead recently, but I never watched the whole thing. I just kept watching chunks of it.
A little slow. It's a little slow.
well,
Keith would hate it, which is
No, I already know he'd
definitely
hate
It's
why
up
I'm
to
gonna
y'all.
vote for it. I'm
It's
voting
up
for
to
it
y'all.
hard. How do we vote again?
I actually, I'm gonna go for Little Monsters.
Yeah, I like Little Monsters out of all of it. I haven't seen that one either, so.
I'm saying City of the Living Dead.
I would go with Little Monsters because I saw that trailer
Okay.
and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god! It
I'm
just
excited. It looks great.
I saw Josh Gad and Lupita and I was like, this has got to be good. This has
Oh,
got to
yeah.
be good. Yes, and that one's on Hulu for y'all that want to watch at home with us. Little Monsters.
I'm
is
gonna
on
have to
Hulu
rent. I'm
if
gonna
you
have to
haven't.
rent it. I don't have Hulu, but I'll rent it.
It's on other. I know it's on other stuff too, but I know it's free on Hulu. So yeah, guys, that's our podcast. We did it! Yay!
Woo!
Ellis, even though you're gonna be here next week and forever, do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah. I mean, I have two other podcasts. One with my sister.
I know what he wants to
comedian-
plug. Sorry.
Okay, that's enough. But yes, I do. It's been a long quarantine. Okay, kids.
I agree with that statement. Yes, it has been.
Woo! If you like movies, with my sister Haley Hoffmeister, and then I have another podcast called Pretty Little Monsters with my friend Allie Keller, who's a writer, and we talk about the show Pretty Little Liars and horror movies. So.
Yay! All right, cool guys. Follow us on social media at Sick Folks of Cinema. I almost said Sick Folks of Comedy again. I don't know
both.
why.
We're
I
everything.
couldn't-
We're-
Sick Folks of Cinema. That
folks,
follow
we're
us
fucks.
on all of it.
Fuckers.
And yeah, we'll see y'all next week or next time. It may not be next week. It may be in 2 weeks. But see y'all next time when we review Little Monsters.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.